up on you.
Did you ever go on that alien encounter ride in Magic Kingdom where they have it's like all pitch black and it's just
And you
it
feel the
uses your
breathing?
mind against you? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about it until you just said that.
That used to be Mission to Mars way back in the day.
That's right. Yeah. And what's the one that I told you I'm never doing again? Maybe that was Epcot. I can't remember, where you pretend like you're having to land the ship onto the moon and it,
Mission space. You're going to Mars.
That sucks.
You're in a centrifuge.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. I'm never doing it again. It's ridiculous. I had forgotten the last time that I did it, that I told myself don't do it again. I don't know how, but it had been that long since I'd been there, like pre-kids.
So when did you know? When they closed the door for it? And you're like, oh, wait a minute.
I had this nagging. Your brain's trying to tell you, hey, dumbass. So the kids want to do it. We get in there. This is a couple years ago. And we get there, and so I'm looking at that thing, and I'm like, I think I remember this sucks. I remember this thing here, it sucks. I don't want to do this. But I couldn't remember specifics. And so I was sitting there, I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a different one of these things. Well, yeah, they're all space agey nonsense. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was some moon ride. And so then I said, yeah, let's do it. All right, let's go. Because I'm not apt to say no to my kids when it comes to rides and things like adventures, right? I want to be the guy that's like, yes, yeah, let's do it. You want to go on the roller coaster? Let's go. So
wait till they ask you for tequila shots in 10 years. I'm not apt to be the guy who says no to my son who wants to have a margarita with dad.
Yeah, at 14. Yeah, so no.
I said 10 years, yeah.
So I said, okay, let's go on it. And then we go, and then you get locked in, and then we start to do the thing. And I'm like, oh, this is the one. This sucks. I hate this. And I knew it, and I didn't want to ruin it for them, so I didn't say anything. But this internal dialogue in my head is like, oh, you dumbass. You know this is a terrible ride. I should have just closed my eyes. I didn't. I kept them open, and then I was almost sick. I
can't wait for the show open on March 31st, 2027, when you're like, you'll never guess what I did again. I forgot again.
There I was, stuck in this stupid thing. Furious. My brain going, hey, again? I've told you. Now, I can go on nothing scares me. Virtually nothing scares me at all about roller coasters. You flippity doos every which way to Sunday doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. We can go 16 loops in a row. We can drop off a cliff. I'm all right, let's go. But that thing is awful. It just makes you sick. You feel, I don't know.
So you don't have any weird gaps in your game? Like for some people in Magic Kingdom, they do the rockets up top above the People Mover. Right. It's basically like the Dumbo ride, but you're way up high.
Yeah.
For some people that I know that are daredevils, for some reason, that's the one. That's the one.
I don't like any sort of like round in circles over and over and over again. I don't mind going upside down. I don't mind dropping and falling and twisting. But if we're just going in circles all day, like the teacups, so what are we doing? What's the point of that? Are we trying to get sick? What are we doing? I'm not doing the teacups or anything like that. You know what I don't know if they do this anymore. We'll get to the sports in a second, guys. It's not that much going on. What I'll tell you is the bumper cars need to be a little bit more violent.
Oh, they are not at all.
No, they've wussified them. You really need to paste people.
Well, but they've been
I want to hurt people when we get in that thing. Let's go.
So there are VHS tapes of my sisters being 5 and 6 years old on those things.
Thing,
and they're the exact same as they were.
You got to get it more violent. I like ones where you can take people out. There's a chance where some whiplash could happen. Like, let's go. Like, you got to be on edge. There has to be some skin in the game. Like, try not to get hit because you could get hurt.
Well, yeah, they got you on the tracks. There is no free roaming.
Yeah, I want free roaming. I want to T-bone people. I want people who aren't looking to get a blind shot from behind so their neck snaps back. And I go, ha-ha, as I drive away, knowing full well that if they could get me too, I'm fair game. Let's get it on. Let's go. If you enter into the arena.
Maybe Disney should create yet another theme park just for that kind of stuff, where it's like, at your own risk, rides galore. Here you go.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, listen, it would be bad publicity if folks were dying, but like another death at Disney. 72-year-old woman got her knees taken out, did a flip, busted her ass. There's like a writer of me going away, going, got her. I think it's funny. Anyhow,
for the 5th consecutive year, it is sold out every day.
I guess I got to get to, before we get to football, which obviously they return to practice today, hoping to have a much better day at the office because, frankly, that was not a good practice Tuesday, well documented here on the Jeff Cameron Show, as noted by the head coach. We gave you our observations about that yesterday. Hopefully a better day today. But first, we start with basketball, FSU men's basketball. Transfer portal already. Here we go. Portal. Oh, I'm waiting. Oh, no, it's not working.
Oh, the mic wasn't on.
No, you didn't turn your mic on.
It sounds just a little bit different for basketball, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's a little different. And it's silent at first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Nobody was shocked to find out that Quincy Ballard said peace. He hit the transfer portal, logged a grand total of 86 minutes in 18 games. And that was despite the fact that there were injuries to Malik Osborne and Naheem McLeod. When you're not getting minutes as a center and two centers go down. That's a toughie. Another, do you think the moment that Hamilton turned to the bench and looked at the mailman and said to Harrison Prieto, walk on, undersized center, you're up? Do you think in that very moment, Naheem McLeod was like, Quincy Ballard was like, yeah, I'm going to have to take it on down the road here. This is not going to.
There may have been a moment of doubt though, because Prieto was all right.
Yeah,
he wasn't bad.
Yeah. Come on though. If you're on,
if you're him, yes, I get it.
If you're him, you're like, man.
It's kind of like the Zoe gif though. He's like, oh, he did go for 12 and 10.
It just makes me laugh. Like, okay, I'm at that moment. Quincy Ballard was no more. Wyatt Wilkes, much to my chagrin and devastation, has decided to enter the transfer portal as well.
Oh yeah, I want a lower third, Director Matthew, for sarcasm. We're gonna get a sarcasm lower third just in case.
Okay.
I don't know if we'd use it in that instance because I know you were devastated to hear that.
Oh, crushed.
Legitimately.
He's entering the portal after 5 years being here. Good God almighty. That's a long relationship right there. That's 5 years. Some people are in happy relationships where the time flies. One day they wake up, they've been married 20 years. How could it be 20 years, babe? We've been together. It's been together. It's been that kind of love where it's just the days they go by so quickly. Time flies when you're having fun. And then there's she came home again kind of relationships where it's like, God, really hoping she'd leave me today. That kind of thing where you hear the car pulling the driveway.
Guess it's off to corner pocket for me again.
This is one of these days I'm going to work up the courage to walk out of this. It's not. Well, Jeff, you've only been in the relationship for 5 years. 5 long years, friend. 5. Yeah, there it is. Wyatt Wilkes entering the transfer portal after 5 seasons at FSU.
Sorry, babe. Winnipeg's playing Arizona tonight in hockey. Big game going to the CP.
I'm heading up to meet the boys at the CP. Go figure. We got spring training baseball from Arizona on tonight. We're going to settle in. Watch a little bit of the
Reds Guardians.
Little cactus league. Little cactus league action. So anyhow, I kid, Wyatt. I kid. There were a couple of moments. He hits the portal, 5 seasons, played in 31 games, 28 too many, and averaged 3 points a game. The transfer portal also saw 7-2 center, however, Allah Adin Boutayeb.
Nailed it.
I think I did. I may have.
Nailed it.
No, but nobody will know. He was enrolled this year, by the way, on the bench for the second semester. He decided to leave. Never logged a single minute as a player for Florida State. So he is grand opening, grand closing, if you will. He's not going to log a minute for Florida State. He has headed on down the road. So again, when centers are dropping like flies and we're going to walk-ons to replace them, the other centers who are sitting on the bench are like, well, again, guys, I mean, I am here. I am available, but alas.
I'm not Destin Hill.
Yeah, this make-believe receiver that everybody asks about.
On every live show.
Every show. 3 slots now available on the roster for Florida State basketball. A move to add someone from the transfer portal has been done. 6'9", 220-pound center. See, bye-bye to some centers. Hello to a center. Here you go. He's a center/forward, 6'9", 220-pounder, Jalen Gainey. Transfer from Brown, so smart kid, because he was there 3 years. You can't fake it for, you maybe get by for a year faking it, but you're there 3 years at Brown. You're doing some things in the classroom. So he's a smart kid. We know that. Averaged roughly 10 points a game, nearly 7 rebounds a game, started all 29 games in 2021, 2022. Converted a league best 70% field goal percentage, blocked a league best 2.5 shots a game. Played 3 years for the Bears, but like all the rest of the Ivy Leaguers, as you guys remember, he didn't see any action in 2020, 2021 because they canceled their entire season. So he really does have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining.
That would be a big development.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I think that's important.
You got a defender who can rebound, shot blocker.
Oh, he was wanted by a lot of people, by the way. This ain't nothing. A lot of people wanted that guy. He's a good player.
Well, we had this talk, I think it was just before the Mexico trip. And I said, I can't wait to see some of the veterans that Leonard goes and gets in the portal, because he's going to have to change his approach. And he had talked about it at length with the media after our early season struggle, saying, clearly a lot of our opponents have gone on the veteran side of things with the transfer portal rather than the high school side of things. And we're getting killed by teams that have a ton of veterans. So we're going to have to change our approach. Well done. Well done.
Here you go. Thus the changes. No official word just yet, Tom. Am I right about Malik Osborne and or Anthony Polite, whether they're returning as fifth-year seniors, whether we get any of the 6 newcomers from last season to head on out the door? Could very well be. If you're looking for candidates for guys that may be asked to have a good day or may choose to have a good day, I don't know. Fletcher, McLeod, Cleveland, Butler, Worley, Mills, any of those guys, they're all eligible to be able to take it on down the road. Would you want all of those guys back? I have a candidate that you don't want back. There is a candidate the same candidate that you don't want back that I need to see a change from. But only Ham and his staff can figure out whether or not that change is forthcoming.
Agreed. I'll trust them, but if he does it again, then we might have a small issue.
Yeah, so that's what you have. Any of the 5 high school signees have reconsidered. We don't know. The Noles are keeping their options open for additional transfers and other high school seniors. So we shall see. But I wanted to lead with that today. We got news there.
Got better yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Oh, yeah, I'm not being tongue in cheek.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
No need for the lower third for sarcasm there. They got better.
Bruce Arians has stepped down as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles will be the new head coach. Good move at the right time. This is perfect. I like Todd Bowles head coach more than I do DC, so this works for me. I would also say that we're all right with Bruce taking it on down the road. Mission accomplished, 3 great years. He's an agent for change, which is great throughout the league and will be recognized as such. That's what his legacy is. Tom Brady was right to note it in his farewell to Bruce Arians. So what a run, right? That's a .633 winning percentage. Best in team history. Go figure, right? I mean, right off the bat, he made a difference. Even with Jameis, in terms of the offensive production. Yes, we know about the interceptions, but immediately the Bucs were in the upper third of the league when he got there, and helping elevate that offense. Obviously, he was a big part of what allowed them to lure Tom Brady, and thus winning a division and a Super Bowl. Nothing but raging success in his brief stay as a Buccaneers coach, and again, a trailblazer for his off the field accomplishments. You think about what he did to affect the team and the community off the field. He's been fantastic. You think Bowles, Leftwich, Keith Armstrong, these are all assistants, all of whom are African American. His assistant head coach, Harold Goodwin, are all minorities. He did that too. He became the 4th. He has now stepped aside and handpicked a head coach who's an African-American. That's the 4th for the Bucs, by the way. The Bucs are trailblazers in that regard. That's something to be proud of. Arians is, again, he created opportunities for women in the game as well. He put his money where his mouth was. He always was an advocate. He was at every stop along the way in his NFL career, but he wasn't a guy who was like, oh, we should do this. You hear a lot of people say that. oh, we ought to do a better job of this, or we need no. He did it. He went out and hired folks to fill those jobs, and in doing so, he also won. So if you're going to do that, you better win, right? Because it's one thing to give the opportunity, but you gotta win for others to have the opportunity long term, and he did that. Certainly helped to be able to lure Tom Brady in as he did, and now the Bucs will move on with Todd Bowles as head coach. I think it's a win-win for everybody involved. I don't have a problem with any of this.
Yeah, it's a net positive. And if it's a power play, so be it. I could see why. What's interesting is Brady left Belichick to come to Tampa because it was more relaxed. And I think he found the other goalpost where he said, oh, so you're going to allow for this complacency because we'll just turn it on around winning time in December. And clearly he made the play. He might like Bruce the man, but as the head coach, he thought we need to get a little bit more regimented. I'd totally buy into that underlying storyline that he retired because he didn't want to play for Bruce anymore.
I don't know if I do or not. I have wrestled with that. Maybe. He has been whispered and talked about many times his concern for family and spending time with his kids as they get older, spending time with his wife. He has brought it up. He brought it before this last season. It came up. It wasn't just at the end of this year that he brought it up. He's played, as we both know, a very long time. It would be omnipresent on your mind when it was time to walk away. Maybe that made it easier. Maybe there was a little nudge there. But I don't think that he decided, you know what, if Bruce Arians is coming back, I'm retiring.
But apparently he had a meeting with the Glazers the day before he came back, and it seemed like maybe the writing was on the wall that, oh, so if you have a meeting with the Glazers, what could you want to talk about? What needs to be different?
Mm-hmm.
This is the only major thing that has changed.
Well, I think he would want input as to who the next head coach is. I would think there's that. You might, I mean, there are very few people who have the clout to be able to say, let's have a talk about the future.
I buy it's a power play because there were multiple reports in February when Brady was retiring, or there were whispers that said, no mas. He this was good for me. I was glad it happened.
We needed Super Bowl.
We needed to do something a little bit different than the Brady camp and all that. But we need to get a little bit more regimented around here. There was one report in the New York Post. I know sometimes they're wrong, but they have Andrew Marchand who does a very good job.
Yeah.
And it was citing how under Arians, I can't think of it. I'm just blanking. Hang on, I'll pull it up in a second. But the idea being that he and Leftwich would be game playing. This is what it is during the week, and Arians was rehabbing his Achilles issue.
Yep.
And then he told the two of them, "You figure it out. It's your plan. It's your show. I'm the head coach. I'll let you know what I think, but it's your show." And then on Saturday of game week, Arians would come in and red pen it and say, nope, we're not doing any of this. And Brady said, no way. I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to be undermined after we put in all this damn work and you're going to do nothing. And then the 11th hour say we're changing the game.
Right. Well, so once again, this is a win. Regardless of how it happens, why it happens and all that, it's a win-win for everybody involved. That's fine. Bowles takes over, defensive-minded head coach, and Brady will be left to run the offense with Leftwich, and they'll be fine. And listen, you get most of the team back. You get you've even added some nice pieces here to the off. It's been a good offseason for the Bucs. A very good offseason.
And co-general manager Tom Brady. Yes, that's right.
If you think about what they've added, and let alone returning Tom Brady, but, you look around the division. The Saints continue to falter, and then you look at the Falcons, who will be the worst team in football this year, and, you're in a good position.
Matt Rule's doing some Matt Rule things over in Carolina.
Yeah. So we'll go to break, come back and talk football. Before we do, Steve, I just saw your comment, and it made me chuckle, and you deserve credit. We were back to the beginning where we were talking about how relationships, depending on how happy or unhappy you can be, that's a funny line. He used to introduce his girlfriend to other guys and then talk them up. Well done, Steve. Well done, sir. It did not go unnoticed. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Hey, fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
God gave us two ends, one to think with and one to sit on. Success in life depends on which one you use. Heads, you win. Tails, you lose. Hi, I'm Rick Hughes, host of The Flatline. Heard every Sunday morning here at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 Tallahassee Real Talk Station. Come join me 30 minutes of motivation, inspiration, and some education as I seek to reveal God's plan by teaching 10 unique problem-solving devices. Every Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m., 93.3 Real Talk Tallahassee.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
So is Russell Knox.
Yeah. Russell Knox off to a good start. It is Thursday. But alas, actually, I need to double check all that. What do you want to see today at practice? What are you closely monitoring? I know your assignment is, again, defensive line. I think we know what we have there, and it continues to be good news. You got a good assignment because that's the strength of the team. You get to see a lot of.
I think the write-up for it's going to be a little bit different, though. Like last week for the offensive line, the article you can find on warchant.com, I go player by player and I give a little readout on the players. But I feel like with the defensive line, if you flash just a little bit in practice, you're doing your job. Or if you do that in a game, especially as a rush end, you know, if you pressure the passer 3 or 4 times on 50 or 60 snaps, you're a good player.
Right.
So I might just put him in categories of consistently always making plays, flashes consistently, but there are times where he disappears, and then, guys who need work. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing today, is categorizing those dudes in my head.
Needs work. Got to get better.
That's right. Need
Not
a lot of
enough.
work. Need to get a lot better.
It'd be great if you did that, by the way.
Yeah, I like him.
So
that'd be Robert Cooper.
Yeah. Oh, man. Lots to like about that guy. I have sung the praises every day that I've come on the air talking about Big Coop, man. That was huge news to get him back. I just think he's loaded for bear, man. That guy right there wants to play. He wants to continue to play. Wants to get paid to play.
Well, we've been there before where we said, oh, thank God they got this guy back, and it didn't work out. See Marvin Wilson. But spring camp is indicating, indeed, but spring camp indicates, in this case, for both Lovett and Cooper, huge. They're there, and they're motivated. They don't get a ton of reps because
they already know what they are.
They know what they are, and the staff, even Mike Norvell said it about the scrimmage. Help some guys out. But when they do, and they get on that roll and they get into the rhythm, it's hard to stop them.
It's also difficult, just so you guys listening or watching or both, what can be difficult, I think, about your task in this situation is they really are, and I guess I want to revisit what I talked about a little bit yesterday. They are experimenting an awful lot with the offensive line and moving guys around. So it's hard to get a real sense as to just where they're at with that starting group on the offensive line, good or bad. I think we know that it's not an all-world group. We know that's not going to be the strength of the team. We know that there's still time to get better and guys can improve, and they're still experimenting. So when you do that, you're mixing and matching a lot. There's no continuity, and it can be difficult to get a read on how effective that group is. And I think that's true. So, and what happens when you do that is that you then also make it a little bit more difficult to figure out just how good or effective or where they are in the maturation process some of the defensive linemen are, because frequently they're going against guys who are either out of position or being experimented with themselves.
Yeah, like a Daniel Lyons, for example, he may flash every single practice, but if you're not getting the important reps, speaking in code, then maybe you have to weight the results a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
To answer your question, Eric, I think Coach Norvell still won the race on Tuesday, but Coop was flying. You and I both watched him, but they were separated off, and Farmer was walling off Coach to try and give Coop a chance to win. But Big Coop was flying on Tuesday.
I think it's a cool thing, and I know this has been a week of flattery from me to Coach Norvell. I've commented on his strengths, but I just think it's great that he has the interaction that he does. Coaches, I can tell you this, and just from covering as well, head coaches specifically, frequently are not that interactive with players. They're on high. They've got the big picture to think about. Your position coach is the guy you talk to day in and day out and grow close with, or that rides you to be better and focuses on your technique and teaches you and you watch film with and all of that. That's why when you're on a recruiting trip, yeah, great, you're going to meet the head coach typically. But you better figure out whether or not you can live life like this with that coordinator, or your segment guy, because that's the dude that you're going to spend every waking second with. But our head coach is very interactive with all of the players, and he goes group to group to group to group to group. And you watch him. I mean, he just flies around in practice. No wonder he's in shape. I mean, he's never not moving, running to each segment group, and he's hands-on. And both in the way that he corrects if something's wrong, but also in the way that he praises and celebrates somebody's successes. And I think that's there's a likability to that. I know I always preferred more hands-on tutelage and interactions with coaches, but I'm that way in the workplace too. I don't mind somebody being able to, talk to me and talk about what we're trying to accomplish.
I'll tell you, he scared the living hell out of me first thing on Tuesday. I was walking down towards the stadium drive side of the IPF because they were going through the defensive line drills over there, and there were some special teams drills on the nearer side. And it was 50-50 balls, read them on the kickoff, let them go out of bounds to get the first down of the 35, or catch them, return, or fair, or do whatever. So it's a situational play. But Coach Norvell is not typically in the end zone. Usually he's around the 50-yard line watching 7-on-7s or running around and yelling, hurry up. That's like he's hurry up, faster.
Let's go.
Those first three periods,
he
sets the tone. Well, Ja'Kai Douglas made an excellent read. There was a kick, And it's going to land around the 4-yard line, but he let it bounce, go out of bounds. And Norvell on 14 on the volume yelled, "Good job, Jakai!" And I had no idea that he was there. Scared the living. Yes.
Jump up.
I looked at him and he looked at me, and then we both continued on our way. I was like, "Whoa, good Lord, man."
Well, I'm sure he's used to startling people because he is a boisterous man.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, I love the race at the beginning of practice that he engages in at all times. He's wrestling with guys and pushing them, and they're pushing him, and it's funny. But there's a little competition there. There's a little, hey, I was once one of you guys. I get it. As a player, practice can be hard. Let's have as much fun as we can while getting better. All that sort of thing. I don't know, man. If you can't accept that kind of coaching, then you can't really be coached. I don't know who wouldn't want that kind of engagement with their coach because it just shows that he's all in and he cares.
And to return to the defensive line talking point for just a moment, I think the only way to do this, I think it would be fair to say, without speaking into specifics, that the cross-training has kind of happened more recently than in the beginning of camp.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to grade out those players, it's what have you done this whole time? What have you done not just this week? Because it was a bad practice on Tuesday.
A terrible practice.
Yeah. I mean, for everybody.
Their worst practice that I've been able to witness, really.
Including last fall?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the worst practice. I didn't like anything about that practice. I really was perturbed. I was kind of like this.
Well, you didn't like the multiple special team segments either.
Well, I'd get up and walk away from that. I don't need to watch that. There's no reason to watch that. You know what I did? I went and found Sanctuary at Dick Hauser Stadium. I walked down and I sat behind home plate and I sent a video message to my grandmother.
Really?
Just to say hello.
There you go.
That's what I did.
Hi, Grandma. They're doing doing special teams right now.
Nonsense over here.
Got
so
about
I had a little time.
4 periods, which is about 20 minutes here.
Yeah, it's 3 periods too many. Where we do the same damn drill we did all of last year to no avail.
Let me read you a chapter from H.G. Wells.
War of the Worlds. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
I'm going to read that to you. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The man who was reported missing was found dead. According to the Tallahassee Police Department, John Serenano, age 59, was found dead Wednesday on the 400 block of White Drive. At this time, no foul play is suspected and the case remains open. Serenano was reported missing by the Tallahassee Police Department on March 16th. Despite declining COVID cases, the Philadelphia Primitive Baptist Church is offering free COVID tests in Frenchtown now through August. The church's pastor, Terry Price, says he's hoping to keep resources accessible in the community out of an abundance of precaution. Pastor Price says despite the declining cases right now, he is very worried that with the possibility of large gatherings during spring break and more ahead during summer break, another surge could be in the near future. The site is located on Dunn Street behind the church and is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Price says the plan is to keep the site open throughout the summer and then he will reevaluate the need for testing. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 77. Winds out of the southwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 55. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 76. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 72.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down After a first blind date, she discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown, starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Michael. There's that. Also, Talk writes, any more info on the Coach Krikorian situation? No, and I don't believe that there will be. To answer James B., he said next after, he's gone, and he doubts the real truth of why he left will ever be known. Well, I mean, I kind of intimated yesterday as to why I think my man is riding out.
And you might be able to find that in the next day or so, once again, in case you don't want to go back and sift through the amazingness of yesterday's show in all 2 hours. We'll have a separate video on Warchant TV.
Okay.
Restating that conversation. It was a good conversation about the health of the athletic department, relative health of it.
Yeah, and also just that you have an athletic director now who has some power. You don't have a puppet in place like you did with each of the last, all of the athletic directors post Dave Hart. So you now have a situation where it's back to having an AD with has authority and teeth and is given autonomy of the athletic department to make moves.
It goes back.
Not saying he fired him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if there's personality conflicts and things of the ilk, I do believe the president's going to side with the athletic director.
And in the past, people would just go directly to the president.
That's correct. And there's now a chain of command, which I brought up.
And if there is a loose piece of paper on the floor, you will pick it up in that athletic building. That I go back to that Ira long form where I went, ooh, I can see how that's good, and I can see how that's really annoying. But I'm glad. We need that. We need more regimented behavior over there in that building. Good job, Michael Alford.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's disappointing that it happened, regardless of the reasons. I mean, on this show, other than to note their successes. And I've had Coach Krikorian on 3 separate times in his time here. That's not a lot. Lots of people talk to him more than I do, but I'm obviously aware of my audience. And, there's just not a lot of time for prolonged segments about soccer. We certainly note their successes, their championships, plural, 3 of them, their conference championships, almost 10. They have been, he's on the Mount Rushmore of coaches at Florida State. I mean, this guy has won and then some, and he built a dynasty, a dominant team that will be the odds-on favorite to win the national championship again this year. They are absolutely stacked. Everybody knows it. It'll be interesting to see, do any of these girls decide to take it on down the road now that Krikorian has left? I certainly hope not. It will also be interesting to see how it is you go about the process of filling those shoes. It is impossible. I mean, it would be, I'm not quite going to put it to the level of, hey, how do you replace Nick Saban? But the answer is you don't. You hire somebody and he has zero chance to be as good as Nick Saban, and you just have to accept that. In this situation, you get hit with the news that Coach Krikorian resigned. Now, a resignation from a reigning national championship coach screams clearly conflict between he and a member of the athletic department. Clearly, that's what it means. Unless he takes a job internationally or he takes a job to lead the national team or whatever. Pretty much if he goes to another college, university, yeah, man, he's mad at somebody. And he said, I'm mad enough to leave. So here it is. I'm leaving. What do you do when you're trying to replace a guy with that resume? This is a big hire for Michael Alford in a weird way. I know you might think, it's women's soccer, Jeff. Even with those championships, we watched that game. We saw the national championship game played, dense fog, 100 people in the stands. It ain't that big a deal. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying the attendance, the money, and all that, it's not like that's a huge sport. They kick ass. They're great. I love that they win every year. We celebrate anybody at Florida State that's having success. So when I say it's a big hire, you might be like, well, not that big a hire. Well, when you're winning championships, people want to see some sustained success. The growth of women's sports is getting to a place where more and more of those sports are profitable. You don't want to see that come to a complete stop. So it will be fascinating to see where they go.
Or they're approaching profitable, at a better rate.
Yeah, they're getting closer. They're getting closer. I looked yesterday, Tom. There were lots of people who have covered this program better than I have, certainly, the women's soccer program. And they're aware of the bigger names in the field of collegiate soccer. And the first thing I wanted to know, so I went online and just started searching names, was how many of his previous assistants have gone on to go and coach soccer elsewhere, and have any of them had success? Because that's who you call. I mean, you find a guy that builds a program like this and has been here for as long as he has. Did he have some people along the way, men, women, whatever, that worked for him side by side? They were integral in part to his success, this program's success, and have they gone on, been hired elsewhere at big time programs and had success? And the answer is yes. There are a couple people that you can choose from there. So I'm gonna guess that's who they're gonna reach out to, and that's exactly who they should reach out to. There's a guy, Eric Bell, who coaches at TCU. In a simple search, I mean, he coached with Krikorian, and that program when he got there, butt ass sorry when he got there. Now, dominant. They win their conference. They have success. Okay, there's proof in the pudding.
I like TCU. That's a good destination because I know there's also a tie to Penn State. And I'm like, Big Ten money? Not so sure. TCU? Well, we could do that. Yeah, so let's see what ends up happening. He's one of a few guys that you would look at just because, again, he's had success and he was part of the staff for more than a handful of years. So he was here for a while. He can be tied in, and you could say, okay. And I would wonder, I am curious. I don't know if the falling out is so ugly that it would prohibit this. But I think when two parties come to a place where they decide, or one of them decides, I'm going to take it on down the road, this is not working for me, you'd like to believe that the level of success, professionalism, and obviously not all of his time here was such that it was, cantankerous and combative, right? He had a run for the ages. So he's got to have a lot of love for the university. So I would think you could ask him, is there somebody you think we should call? I mean, you're moving on, best of luck to you. Depends on who makes that phone call to him. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Certain people may not want to ask that of him, but certain other people might be able to ask that.
That's why you have a department.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And also there are probably very specific people who have invested in the soccer program here at Florida State in a way that benefited Coach Krikorian quite a bit. Maybe they would like to see, because they're alumni and boosters, maybe they'd like to see the success continue, and maybe their contributions were appreciated enough that phone call would be taken to where you could ask that question. Maybe. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
This is an important message regarding your backyard grilling capabilities. Upgrade your outdoor grill, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, or create a custom outdoor kitchen. The team at Hearth and Patio can do it all. If you haven't seen all of the amazing things you can do with a custom outdoor kitchen from Hearth and Patio, take a minute and visit their website, hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Call Hearth and Patio today at 727-4282. That's 727-4282.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences, too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Bill so politely.
That was me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then you're also, which we knew.
I'm in a good mood today.
You're also nicer than I am.
I'm feeling very fortunate.
Generally speaking, I think.
Two trees fall in my yard. None of them hit the house. None of them hit a car. So I'm in a good mood. Mailbox got destroyed.
Mailbox got taken care of.
It was a brick and mortar one too. That's it was sturdy. It was.
You would have liked to know, put on another show for my neighbor this morning.
Oh, no.
Bright and early. Here's why. It was the other neighbor this time. So this one's funny, though. No. It's not as bad as you think. Laying in bed, about 5:15. And I'm thinking, boy, it's getting windy out there. Which is what I should think at my age, laying in bed at 5:15 in the morning, wide awake.
You should verbalize it too.
Oh, yeah. So I'm laying there and man, it's getting windier and windier out there. It's probably going to start pouring any minute now. I'm going through it,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing,
hun.
Nothing. Just getting pretty windy out there.
Yeah, it's just getting very windy out there. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the days are getting longer. So just sitting there and I'm laying there and then it occurs to me, damn it, I just got done grilling salmon and shrimp last night and forgot to put my cover back on my grill. And here come the rains, Tom. Once again, the kind of thing I should be thinking at my age, laying in bed at 5:15.
Here we go. That's a premise.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I hopped out of bed, 5:20ish. Got to get to that grill. I've got priorities, Tom. So I went running down the hall, and we know from years of listening to the Jeff Cameron Show that I do indeed sleep naked. So I jump up.
We were thankful the first time we got that information, too.
Yep. Still sleeping naked. Always will. Can't clothe me for the bed. No, sir. So I go running down the hall. Kids are sound asleep. No chance they're going to wake up, so they don't have to worry about, running into pops in a tough situation. So there I am running down the hall. Christy, as I got out of bed, was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "The grill." So then I got moving. So it's pitch black out there. Got to turn the light on, Tom. Got to turn the light on. It's pitch black. It's 5:15 in the morning. I'm out on my deck. The rain is coming down. It's happening now. I have to bend over to pick up the cover to the grill.
Oh, no.
And it's at that moment that I turn to my right, and my neighbor is covering up his plants. Like he's quite the gardener. He's got the ability to garden. And he's got all kinds of stuff, fruits and vegetables and the like. And he's trying to protect them from the winds and everything. And there I am.
Bend over.
Getting the grill cover with the light on, shining brightly down.
Oh, with the light?
Well, I had to turn on the light. I couldn't see the damn cover. It was pitch black at 5:15 in the morning.
Bend over.
So there's a sorry about that as I closed the door.
You shouldn't have even acknowledged it. Should have just let it be.
Oh, no, we met eyes. I mean,
Oh, really?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a toughie for him.
Oh, man.
That was a toughie for him.
He's going to share the story. They're going to be in a counseling group together with the other neighbor.
He walked in, I'm sure, and went, "Honey, I like Jeff just fine, but jeez."
We're off to a rough start today, hon. We're off to a rough. Why is he playing the Alonzo GIF?
I like that he is. Like, well, the man does have to cover the grill. I think the Alonzo GIF is because he agrees that right? A grown man's got to be like, well.
That is ridiculous. But that grill would have been maybe
that's
through
right.
somebody's window.
Yeah, and he's an older gentleman. He knows. He's like, well, he's out there protecting and what he's got.
Oh, he's an older guy? That's good.
Yeah, my neighbor's older. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
It wasn't the young preacher who wants to come over and take your food when you're grilling. Is that guy still around?
The guy's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants to try.
Hey, what you grilling over there?
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Pass it on over.
It's a weird thing to ask somebody.
Could call it
if you can
Passover.
have what they're grilling. It's happened more than once where somebody's like, "Oh, what you cooking there for?" "Oh, I'm just cooking for the family. Just cooking for the family."
We are one big family.
Yeah. Yeah, over here.
In his eyes. Yes, we are.
So
Is that a potato roll? Ooh, I love those toasted too.
It was, that has been the weirdest kind of, we're just looking at each other like, okay. So you want me to bring you over a piece of what I'm grilling over here? Like,
absolutely.
You can't, the Publix right up the road. You can,
I can walk across.
There's food for everybody. You can, there's more.
I'll walk across the front yard and meet you out back.
Oh my
Would you like a Fresca?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, Fresca. Do they still make Fresca?
You got me.
God, that sounds delicious. I haven't had a Fresca in 20-something years.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFD over at the Tallahassee.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. White House citing U.S. intelligence showing Russia's Vladimir Putin is being misinformed about the war.
President Biden is refusing to comment on the intelligence, but his spokesperson, Kate Bedingfield, said Putin's advisors are too afraid to tell him the truth about his military's performance in Ukraine.
It is increasingly clear that Putin's war has been a strategic blunder that has left Russia weaker over the long term and increasingly isolated escalated on the world stage.
Meanwhile, Mr. Biden is pledging another $500 million in assistance to Ukraine's government.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston reporting President Biden is ordering the release of some 1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve for a 6-month period, that in a bid to control energy prices. Also at townhall.com, Senator Lindsey Graham says he'll vote against confirming Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Here's Bob Agnew with more.
The South Carolina senator was not expected to support the judge after the two shared some of the most tense moments of her confirmation hearings last week. Graham was especially concerned about her previous sentences for convicted child pornographers that were far more lenient than the recommended guidelines. Graham also accuses Jackson of judicial activism, telling colleagues from the Senate floor, quote, Judge Jackson will not be deterred by the plain meaning of the law when it comes to a liberal cause. Bob Agnew reporting.
Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves signing a bill to authorize that state's largest teacher pay raise in decades. Beginning July 1st, teachers will receive an average increase of about $5,100. Few details are known at this hour, but authorities say a student has been shot and wounded at a middle school in South Carolina. The shooter apparently also a student. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm about to compare a pepper shaker to a cash out refinance. Hang with me. You know when you're at a restaurant and they ask, would you like some fresh ground pepper? And then they crank that giant tube, but almost nothing comes out? For me, only a certain amount of time is socially acceptable to wait. I know that getting that pepper out might make my life better, but it just seems too impossible. And that's what we hear people say about the cash out refinance. People realize that the value of their home has gone up like hot pepper the last few years, leaving all this extra money sitting inside their home. But is it too hard to get out? It's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage. If you're interested in cashing out the extra pepper in your home, we're good at doing all the work while you just sit back and relax. And often, your mortgage payment and years in the loan will stay the same. If you'd like to hear about your options,
we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Meadow Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
This is Dr. Ryan Finn from Finn Chiropractic. As a chiropractor, we correct subluxations. Here's the deal. Your brain runs the body through the nervous system. If a bone gets out of place or subluxates, it puts pressure on your nerves. These can cause headaches, neck pain, back pain, arm pain. With Finn Chiropractic, we turn your subluxation into relaxation with an adjustment. Come on by and see us or get in touch with us at finnchiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
.4 media access is granted as usual ahead of the scrimmage this Saturday. I've not looked. We good for Saturday weather-wise?
Mixed bag.
It's so weird. I always wonder what coaches are going to decide to do there. I mean, there are times, of course, you're going to play in inclement weather, but you're trying to get practices executed and technique, and there's a lot of teaching going on. Not always great to do when it's pouring rain, and so like sometimes I wonder, do they decide, hey, let's have an outdoor practice in the rain? Football's a game played in the elements. Got to see if we can execute there, or do you decide, no, this is spring football? Let's figure out what we're doing here and make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. My guess is it's the latter again, and they'll go inside, and that's why you have an indoor practice facility, because generally speaking in Florida, if it's raining, it's also lightning.
Well, I think also part of it is the rain that we've had on the days that they've held the practices has been so heavy that you're probably doing more damage than good to the field itself. And you don't need to worry about doing damage to the field in the spring. Like that's if we're going to cause ourselves a lot of yard work, let's do it in the fall when we need it and not right now.
Knock on wood, things have gone really well up to this point in spring football from the standpoint, for the standpoint of injury. And I hesitate to even use the word, but everybody thinks it every spring. I mean, let's just be honest about this. Every spring you go into camp, you want to see guys grow. You want the competition to be intense. You want to see players emerge, but you also hold your breath. I mean, you really do, because especially this Florida State football team, they've made incremental improvements to the roster. You've got more and more guys, I've said it ad nauseum, that look the part, but that is sprinkled throughout the 22, if you will, the starting 22. There's not a ton of guys that look the part beyond that group, either of the starting offense or starting defense. Once you get beyond that, and even there's some spots that are suspect. It's like your yard. I got some weeds over there. We got to get something sprinkled in over there. This ain't going to get done. But for the most part, it's grass. Starting to look like grass. Just don't have a lot to go around.
Damn it. I hit Tatum Bethune with the Roundup. Hun, get the water.
No, Tatum. I'm so sorry. By the way, that's an impressive young man. We've talked a lot about him. He's had an instant impact on this defense. He's the real deal. They have done a good job, once again, identifying potential and areas of upgrade through what I think is the transfer portal and more importantly, the evaluation of the guys that enter it. Because you've got a choice of a lot of people to reach out to, and they don't miss that much. They've missed some out of sheer desperation. They've thrown some numbers at a problem before, and it hasn't paid off. But they haven't they haven't whiffed too many times. There are a few guys that have been of no use to you in the transfer portal that you brought in. But for the most part, they've done a good job of evaluation.
If you take a look at the newcomers, both freshmen and transfers, the evaluation for this period of time to get kids in here for the spring has been nearly 1,000 in terms of the batting average.
So when we talk about Norvell and his staff, the good and the bad and everything in between, they've got to be better at getting more yeses from more players out of high school recruiting. They got to win more of those battles. They haven't
closed them and understand whether they are going to close them or not.
Right.
Yes,
they haven't been elite recruiters. They are, however, I think, very good evaluators. So if we can just up our game a little bit on the yeses from more of those kinds of players, I don't worry about who they're offering in terms of evaluating the player and what they'll be when they get here. You get them in here, they tend to look pretty good. They tend to look like guys that you're happy are here.
And they've gotten some blue chippers, to use the old school term, but it's just a matter of having the awareness to know, is this kid actually going to say yes on the last day? The Hunter thing notwithstanding, there were some other examples where they felt very good about players that weren't the number one overall player in the class. And still, they were shocked to find that they weren't going to be the last one standing. So you've got to clean that up.
That's got to get a lot better, and I've been angry about that and have made mention of it. I don't want to relitigate that. But, yeah, that's why I would say, hey, you're doing a good job of evaluating talent and extending offers to the right kinds of players. You're not always closing that deal the way we're going to need it done from here on out. Now, listen, a big part of this, and we all know it, we talk about it nonstop. It's the Wild, Wild West. It's a new era. And you got to pay players to come. That's what's going on. You got to have the NIL funds. It's got to be organized. You got to have a lot of people involved in that process that are buttoned up, know what they're doing. And, listen, there are some I guess, contests that you can't win. You're not equipped to win, but you got to win your fair share. And, let's hope.
Yeah, like the reports of it's the shock that leaves me as a fan or as an analyst of the situation saying, hey, that's not good. There are times when there is a high prized recruit, high-rated prized recruit, and a coaching staff feels good about what they've done, but they go into the day before the early signing period or the old school signing day thinking, we'll see. I don't know. If that's where you stand, fine. No problem. If you don't get them, that's okay. But if you are shocked in those offices and you have to turn around as the primary recruiter or the director of recruiting relations, and then your chair has to swivel over to the head of the table at Mike and look him in the eye after you reported we're good, you don't want that. That doesn't make for a good working environment for anybody.
No, it doesn't. That is not good. I would guess that there were some tense moments and that he was incensed. It's an important year for a lot of people. Everybody points to Mike Norvell. Some guys on that staff. It's an important year. There's some guys on that staff that I'm shocked are still here. So by definition, it's a very important year. They got a stay of execution. Very important year. And maybe it happens. Maybe it happens because one of those individuals is the guy that we're all rooting for. In theory, we're rooting for all those guys, but especially if you're a former Nole and you love this place, and there's no questioning that. And maybe now you're better equipped. You'll see some kids emerge there. It's got to be a better day for those receivers and these quarterbacks today. Let's hope it is. It was not a good day on Tuesday.
I would think they'll be sharp. I mean, that is such an outlier to the other 6 practices that we saw. They had the 7th was a scrimmage. We saw 6 other pieces of evidence that would suggest, that's who they are, not what we saw on Tuesday. So I would fully expect a much tighter practice today, even if it is confined to the IPF.
Michael, we did shout you out. I said the answer was no. So you don't have to ask anymore. Your contribution was noted, and we appreciate it. And the question was answered. So thank you. There you go. Woo! That's the second time that we've done that. But hey, duly noted. I would too like to interview Tatum Bethune. Thanks, James, for noting that the interview with Verse was a fun one. And Tatum Bethune spoke to us after Tuesday's practice. He's kind of a soft-spoken kid. One of the things about him, you can tell, soft-spoken, yes. Lacking confidence, no. He's a smart kid who gets it,
but doesn't like to talk about himself. He'd rather talk about a teammate. So it makes for an interesting interview.
It makes for a tough interview, frankly.
Yeah, it does.
I think, though, when he talks about areas where he's trying to improve, he has something in common with a lot of the guys they've brought in. When you think about the success stories in the transfer portal, where they've, as we mentioned before, successfully evaluated a player, thought this would be a good fit for him, convinced them of that, got them to say, yes, come here. And then not only come here, but have success and elevate their stock and their status within the NFL draft. Obviously, the most celebrated of all of that is Jermaine Johnson. But one of the things that I've noticed is that those guys, having already accomplished something at the Power 5 level, so you've got good film on them, but they're hungry. Almost every one of the guys that have come here that you thought, oh, that was a good get, still had something to prove and were willing to talk about it. And you could see that they practiced hungry, they played hungry, they got better, they looked to improve certain skill sets. And Tatum Bethune, just to give you some context for this, he brought it up, when he was asked about what he does well, and he said, look, I'm a good football player, I got good instincts, I know how to play the position and all that, but I want to get better open field tackling, want to get better in space, that kind of thing. It's cool to find kids that have the ability. Obviously, that's part of the deal there. You got to find the right guys, but you got to find those guys who know, hey, I got a chance to elevate. I got a chance to get to where I go from probably a draft prospect to guaranteed first 3 rounds, first round, because then you get a kid who's got a ton of experience and ability, who's hungry and will set the tone for the room. Because they've garnered instant respect upon walking through the door if you've played big-time college football and amassed the numbers that somebody like Tatum Bethune has. I mean, UCF has been, frankly, a better program than Florida State over the last handful of years, unfortunately, and he was one of the best players on that defense.
Not asking for a W's and L's here because that's premature. We could do that after the spring game, a nice new refresh version of W's and L's. But given what you've seen out of some of the key positions, going back to before the first practice, we were looking at receiver and defensive end and linebacker too.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we found some answers at each one of those positions, like good ones. Not, oh, okay, that's serviceable. Like, oh, well, that could work. That really could work.
I agree.
Does that change your outlook before we ever do a formal W's and L's? Do you feel a little bit more bullish? Like it's a strong 7-5, not a we need to get lucky to finish 7-5, and anything like that after what? Because to me, the evidence is mounting that says, man, if you put a bell curve, maybe 8's in the middle. 8 could very well be in the middle.
Schedule's tough, Tom, and they.
What is it? The vet quarterbacks?
Yeah, man, veteran quarterbacks, LSU. I mean, listen, it's a tough schedule. A road Friday night game against Louisville. Another veteran quarterback who torched us. You get Jerkovich or whatever back from Boston College, and he, listen, we should win that game here.
We tattooed them.
Yeah, but we should win that. Well, yeah, but I mean,
the officials are worth 15.
I was about to say there were moments. Another veteran quarterback in Wake Forest. They dropped a big number on us. NC State on the road. Another very talented veteran quarterback. I mean, you can go on down the list. You don't get too many reprieves. Miami down in Miami with a talented quarterback, obviously. Georgia Tech here, you should be all right. But, again, Syracuse is not a great team, but that's on the road. Quarterback that lit us up. I mean,
I feel much more equipped to handle many of those quarterbacks with what I've seen so far, balance-wise across the defense. I don't know that there's deep shots down the field against our corners. Feel better about that already? I know I do.
I do. I'll ask you this question, though, because when you're talking about does that amount to a win total shift, you got to go back to the game we like to play where we look at percentages and percentage chance you're going to win. Obviously, like you would say 99.9999% against Duquesne, right? But then from there, it's fun to do the win percentage game. And I don't know that what I've seen in practice to this point, both strengths and weaknesses, skew something that was 48% into 57%. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't see a 50-50 game that I now go, oh, that's 60-40 us. I see a slight turn.
I feel, well, and this is holding health constant, which is difficult to do. And,
right.
and, you're going to get hurt somewhere. You just hope it's the right segment group. Jordan looks better. Offensive line, still incomplete, but is better. Receivers are certainly better. The running back room we feel better about than we did before camp started. I think they'll be able to replace Corbin okay. So the offense in general, yep, check. It's going to be better than it was last year. Defense, linebacker, absolutely shored up. Tatum Bethune does a good job of holding it down, and now you can rotate in a Lundy or a Deloach and whatever down you need them for. Jared Verse looks like he's got something for you. D interior is going to be very good.
Yeah, but you're taking a step down off the edge, whether Jared Verse has something for you or not. You're not better at defensive end than you were last year. I don't disagree if your argument is that we're a better team than we were a year ago. But if we're going to go from predicting 7-5 to 8-4, or go from 8-4 to 9-3, I don't know that offensive line is appreciably better. And I don't know how much better Jordan Travis, the passer, is. I haven't seen enough to go, oh, well, that's worlds better.
Really? Okay.
No.
Right.
He's always been able to make the throw down the sideline. He drops that into a bucket. He does it better than most. Is he appreciably better throwing the ball over the middle of the field on time in rhythm? I don't know. These practices have revealed that.
I think for me, what they've revealed is we're appreciably better at getting open over the middle of the field for him to deliver a throw, which is a big part of the equation. Who the hell was open over the middle last year?
Well, we wouldn't have known because he wouldn't have found him. But I agree with you. I agree with you on that I think they are more open more often. I don't disagree with that. I do think Micah Pittman's helping out an awful lot. That kid has surprised me. Not that he can play, or I didn't think it was a bad pickup, but given how diminutive he is in terms of height, I thought there was no way he was going to win a bunch of these contested balls. We have too many. In my mind, when we brought him in, I'm like, man, we got another guy that's under 6 feet tall trying to win battles. That's a toughie. Tired of throwing to guys like this, but he wins them all. So it's very impressive.
The important thing to remember, I think, is we're looking at the transfer portal and they're going to try and dip in for another player.
Yeah.
Take your best available offensive lineman. Yes. I would rather take a badass guard and a second team all ACC guard versus, replacement level group of 5 tackle, because then you can slide Washington back to right. You create another tackle by finding a guard, is what I'm saying. So I hear this and I read this a lot. Like, go get a tackle. Sure, if you can find one.
I was going to say,
the
the odds are that you're not going to find a high-quality tackle that's out there that A, is A, out there and still available, and B, wants to come here.
But if you find a guard in the mold of a Gibbons or something like that, and you have, and even if they're a project, because Gibbons wasn't a finished product when the season started, he got better as the season went along. He got in shape. But now it's Gibbons, Lyles, and transfer, and your tackles are Scott Washington or Scott Harris, with Washington being your swing player, your 6th man, or Bless. That's a huge improvement.
Yeah, that's the improvement I'm going to have to see to say, okay, I'm going to upgrade this from a loss to a win. I like whatever game we're talking about. Like, if I have a game that I think is a loss, and then now I'm going to turn it into a win, it's going to be because the offensive line got better somehow, either through practice and whatever we witness moving forward, or they brought in another body, which allows them to kind of raise the floor, if you will. Okay, then I might be willing to concede that. As of right now, I don't know that I've seen enough of that. They still have enough problem areas. They're still not dynamic enough at wide receiver. I don't know that Jordan has taken a massive leap forward, consistently throwing the ball in rhythm on time from the pocket. I don't know that that's happened. I know that when he has time, if we're running anything on the outside and it's one-on-one, he's going to hit it. And he does a good job with that, but he already did. That's the throw he can make where you go, wow, that's a great throw. Not taking that away. It's the other stuff that I want to see him do that all quarterbacks have to be able to do, and that's part of his maturation process, that next step. And I'm rooting for that kid to do it, because the alternative is that you're going to get Tate Rodemaker killed. So you got to, he's going to be our quarterback, because we have to have a quarterback that can move around. And Tate's not a statue, but he's not Jordan Travis. So, Jordan I said it yesterday, but we were up against the break. One of the reasons that Jordan is your quarterback, even if, let's say, the passing drills are equal. Let's just say Tate has risen to a place where the passing drills are equal, because I don't think that's
not a stretch.
That's not a stretch at all.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty accurate, actually. All right. At the end of the day, you're going to go again with Jordan, because in one-on-one, if there's a jailbreak and somebody gets free, Jordan will always, as long as he can see him, Jordan will make that guy miss.
And then also you're going to be in more one-on-ones because of the fear of his legs. So the way the scheme before the snap is drawn up is fundamentally different.
That is correct. So yeah, he has to be your guy. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
People trust Sellers for better tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Sellers Flooring Advisor Ryan Fitzgerald.
We understand most people don't come in with great knowledge of what they're looking for or what they need. So at Sellers, what we try to do is use our expertise to guide you through the process.
Get Sellers working for you.
We make it easy, and we have the experts on staff to get you where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale, The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like ABC Flooring, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme, or Keith Lawson Services, providing professional services and maintenance for your home's most critical systems for over 39 years. If you need air conditioning, heating, or plumbing repairs, you will receive an upfront written quote, and the job will be done on time by the area's most advanced, highly trained professionals. Keith Lawson Services, Florida license CMC 125456 and CFC 1429-197.
This is an important message regarding your backyard grilling capabilities. Upgrade your outdoor grill, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, or create a custom outdoor kitchen. The team at Hearth and Patio can do it all. If you haven't seen all of the amazing things you can do with a custom outdoor kitchen from Hearth and Patio, take a minute and visit their website, hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Call Hearth and Patio today at 727-4282. That's 727-4282.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans, a mortgage company that is designed around speed, simplicity, and service.
Getting frustrated with ESPN's scoreboard, PGA Tour scoreboard.
Frustrated with ESPN? What?
Well, the way they do their golf is crappy. But I was already on ESPN, so I was like, oh, well, let me just check and see who's doing what during the commercial break. And obviously, you guys know me. I may or may not be gambling on the Valero Texas Open. And one of the guys that I suggested yesterday towards the end of the show, Siwoo Kim, I said, hey, if you want a long shot that I feel pretty good about this week to finish in the top 20, maybe take a look at Siwoo Kim. Siwoo posted up with a cool 69.
Nice.
Tied for 12th. Right off the bat, we're in a good spot.
On schedule.
There we go, Siwoo. Happy with it. So then I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's take a look at who else do we have? And it occurred to me, I was like, okay, well, I'm in a bunch of different pools, so which one is the one where I can win the most amount of money? Those are the guys I check on most frequently. So right off the bat, I was like, oh, well, Gary Woodland. I've got Gary Woodland. How's he doing? He's been trending in the right direction lately. I go, I'm searching. There's Gary Woodland, -2 in the clubhouse. All right, tied for 18th. There you go, Gary. We're off to a good start. I got two guys in the top 20 right off the bat. Now I'm a big dog. Got to go find my big dog, Abraham Answer, who I think could win the tournament. He would be my pick to do a one-off. And I'm like, where the hell is Answer? He's teed off by now. Can't find him. About to curse ESPN. Abraham Answer just called it a day. It's a peace.
He withdrew?
He withdrew.
Oh, no.
Right in between the boys. Just a running kick.
Oh, no.
So it eliminates me from one of the pools immediately where I'm like, well, that's that. It doesn't matter how well Siwoo and anybody else that I have does. I'm screwed. But then I thought, all right, that's in my other league, Tom. We have a rule. You have to pick a fourth as an alternate. I never take it seriously. I did during the pandemic, but people were dropping like flies. You had guys who would just withdraw at the last second, got COVID in the middle of a round, whatever it might be, right? We had that. So those days, I was taking it very seriously. I was looking at all of the alternates with the idea that I may end up having to use this guy. These days, I'm kind of like, oh, it's never going to happen. I don't have anything to worry about. So you know who I took as my alternate on a flyer because he's played the course well before many years ago? Ricky Fowler. Now, Ricky Fowler is now in my threesome. There's Ricky. And Ricky, as we know, has sucked for a long time. Ricky is even par. Not killing me. But, that's probably where he's going to live. He's going to live right around there in the inconsequential range of Adam Long and Martin Traynor.
Just put an animation up on the screen of how it felt for you with Abraham Answer.
I love that GIF, by the way. It's an all-time.
Nori Aoki.
And he is wearing that. And look at the instantaneous grimace as soon as that. Oh, that is a tough.
That is a 2-year-old's grimace. Just that is pure raw pain.
It is such all at once you'd say that's a great effort. On the other hand, you're like, man, what are you can't completely whip.
For the radio folks out there and the streamers who are not viewing the proceedings, this is Kansas City's Nori Aoki, who is sliding in Toronto, foul territory, right field line.
Hosmer's
it's a baseball.
Watching closely.
It's a baseball slide. Feet first.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's going to catch the ball.
And the ball catches his.
That's correct.
And it is something to behold.
It's a 3-ball count right there.
It is something to behold. But alas, you're right, James. Prize Picks will give me my money back. You guys will know as of maybe the end of the show today if I have a 4 power play winner come through on Prize Picks.
What are you betting on? German field hockey?
No. No, it's this tournament. But Answer is not part of the group of 4 that I took. And they all 4 have to hit for me to win. It's a flyer, obviously. It takes a minimal bet and turns it into a very lucrative day at the office if I get it. But I was trending in the right direction. Will maybe in about 28 minutes. No, very excited.
Sure, it's not German field hockey. The Dunkelwaffe Classic.
You would be worried about me officially at that point. No need to worry if you're trying to find trustworthy gentlemen to help you through the process of a new mortgage and getting a loan for said new mortgage. Just reach out to Chad and Shannon, the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. They make that process very simple. It's speed, simplicity, great service. It's not intimidating. They'll take that opportunity to make it as easy as possible, educate you along the way. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, transparent communication. Obviously, you want a 5-star mortgage experience. You're going to get it with Hamilton Home Loans and the legendary team, Chad and Shannon at Hamilton Home Loans. Get it together, Jeff. I was looking for the phone number. I want to make sure everybody knew how to reach them. 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN. Also, check them out, FSUHomeLoans.com.
Your local news now.
Bird flu has now been confirmed in the capital city. An injured duck found in Tallahassee had the disease, as confirmed by the St. Francis Wildlife Hospital in Quincy. St. Francis is now under a bird quarantine and, as a precautionary measure, will not accept any sick, injured, or orphan birds. Bird flu is most prevalent in waterfowl, so be sure to clean your shoe bottoms after visiting any lakes with duck or geese. And if you spot a sick or dead bird, report it to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. Tallahassee Community College is one of several colleges and school districts in the state of Florida that were awarded funding by the state. TCC was awarded $1.5 million towards expansion of registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. A total of 11 colleges and school districts in Florida will receive part of $10.5 million in funding for the programs. The governor's office notes funding was via the expansion of registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship grant. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 77. Winds out of the southwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 55. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 76. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program with guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plates. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff and Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Do right.
Ooh, all right. I like this topic.
That's what we're going to do, buddy. We're going to solve for our future thanks to our friends at ISF. You want to do amazing things. We want to do amazing things. You've got big visions and goals for the future. So does Florida State football. We hope. And they're working hard, just like ISF, to move the program forward. And in their case, move your agency forward. There are unique challenges when it comes to working in government operations, and ISF certainly understands that. They've been helping clients solve the future for 4 decades. 4 decades. Now, what's cool is that ISF is an IT and strategy firm, if you didn't know that. And for 40 years, they've certainly served the state government and business clients across the state of Florida, but also across the nation. They're experts, government processes, which can be, tricky. They've worked with government agencies across the country. They have unmatched expertise in developing strategies. They evaluate and refine the process, and they implement technology solutions, make it, realistic, forward-thinking, faster, and more efficient. So reach out to my friends at ISF today, isf.com. You can read more about all that they've done. They've got expertise, obviously, in process and technology and strategy. So find out more, isf.com. Yeah, I do. I think that one thing the spring has revealed, Tom, without question, is they've got to go out and get another offensive lineman. If they do one thing when spring ends, it would be to go out and get a lineman, maybe 2, if you can. Now, it's easier said than done. But remember, Dylan Gibbons did fall into our lap, and he was a backup at Notre Dame, and everybody went, well, he never plays, da-da-da. Well, my thought at the time was, if he got recruited to Notre Dame as an offensive lineman, which has a long-standing history of kicking ass on the offensive line, I bet you he's better than what we have. Turned out we were right. He was our best offensive lineman last year. Kind of angers me while simultaneously emboldens me in realizing they're out there. It can happen. Spring practices are happening all around the country right now. Somebody is very disappointed with their lot in life that somebody is ahead of them on the depth chart. And, if that somebody is playing at Notre Dame or Wisconsin or Texas A&M or any place that routinely produces high-quality offensive linemen and they want to get in the field right away, well, there's probably an opening here.
Yeah, to reiterate something from earlier in the hour, if you bring in a guard who can really play and would be a starter for you, then I'm okay with the tackle room being Robert Scott, Darius Washington, Bless Harris. You've got 3 options there that I think would be fine, especially if you suffer one injury. I think you could live with it. Obviously, Scott would hurt the most if he got hurt for whatever reason. But if you can find a tackle, great. because then Darius can just slide in, play right guard, and now you have the 3 tackles, and you've got enough depth.
Correct.
I think with some of the younger players who are going to develop by the second or third week of fall camp, I think you'll have another option or 2 at guard beyond Darius Washington. And if Maurice Smith could put on a little bit of weight, you'd feel really good about your situation in the interior of the offensive line. So I don't think it's simply find a tackle. Is it the best solution to find a tackle? Yes. But if you find a starter across the board on that offensive line, then you've got enough versatility with some of those players that are already on the 2 deep that the tackle position should be okay.
Yes, and I would also tell you that Bless Harris, who I thought they brought in solely for depth, because just looking at him, I thought he had a ways to go, I now believe is going to likely be a starter, don't you?
I think there's a real good shot.
I think there's a real good shot he's a starter.
If Darius plays inside, then I think
Yeah.
Bless is your starter. But I think the battle is between 76 and 58, but they're going to cross-train so much that it'll be hard to tell until August.
So the reason I brought it up, to your point, was that because I thought he was being brought in to be a backup, and the fact that I think he's going to start means that you weren't able to provide the depth that you thought you were going to be able to provide by having somebody rise to the occasion
In-house, somebody who was already in-house.
Right. So now you're going to have to go outside of it and go get that. And it'll be very curious to see if they do. I think they will. I don't know if solving the future, thanks to our friends at ISF, involves is there another position where bringing in somebody is absolutely critical to the success of this upcoming season? Because I do think it's critical they find another offensive lineman to bring in here. I do.
I think if you could find an H-back, you wouldn't know it because, we can live without it, but that offense would go to a whole new level. If you could bring in a bona fide H-back to play in this offense, that would fundamentally change what's possible.
I do want to say that the Courtney kid is a good-looking prospect. He really is. When he flashes when we watch practice, and it's kind of easy to flash from that position. We don't really have anybody. That
not a lot of depth
No.
for coverage that you're going head-to-head with.
No.
Yeah.
And so when you see him, I mean, at least 3 separate times I've been watching practice and thought, oh, who's that kid? Oh, that's the Courtney kid. Okay. Like that's happened several times where somebody flashes, somebody makes a play, somebody looks athletic, there's a fluidity to their movements, and you like it, especially when it's coupled with the size of the player. You're kind of like, oh, that's a big guy who moves well. Oh, that's Courtney. Okay. So that's good. I can say, for as harsh as I've been on that tight end room, and I am, because it's just butt. When he plays, I perk up a little bit. Now, look, does that mean he makes a huge impact year one here in games? Probably not. Definitely not.
You'd be telegraphing that you're throwing to him because right now
he's too small to block it up
yet.
right now. Yeah. He'll get there though. He's got the body type to put it on, and he's
and he
built
played
well.
defense in high school as well. So it's not like he's afraid of contact. He's not somebody who has just been a slot receiver type his whole high school career. He played quarterback, defense. I mean, that kid is not afraid.
That's the room. While I'm talking him up, I can't help myself. That's the room where if you took a guy who is a college football analyst, writer, somebody who's covered the game for a long period of time, maybe even played the game, whatever, you take that guy, and he works for CBS, maybe he works for Rivals, or maybe he works for Henri, maybe he works for wherever he works, right? He's this guy. He's national, and he covers all of college football. And he knows that Ohio State looks one way, Alabama looks another way. Those are the elite teams. And there's this group over here, which is a lot of teams, right, that are just below that. And then they say to him, go to Tallahassee and tell me just on the hoof, what do these guys look like to you? What are they going to be? Are they getting any better around here? And he comes to practice. The tight end room would be the very thing that he walked away and would say, they still have a ways to go. That room reveals where we are in our transition stage more than any other to me, because you've got a Cam McDonald who more than looks the part, but is what he is, just an average football player. No fault of his own. I like that kid. He's serviceable, but serviceable is not what we're looking for. We're looking for good, and he's not good. And then from there, you got nobody. But more than that, once you get past Courtney and Jackson West body type wise, Marcus and Douglas looks like an offensive lineman. From there, it's kind of like, guys that look like that can't be on your football team if you're good. That's what that room does to me.
Right. Well, I know this is solving for the future, but if you want to say from the optimistic side of it, you look at that room, that reminds me of where we were in the past in most segments. I look at the tight
Oh,
end
in
room.
most segments, yeah.
You know, you look at most segments.
It was
and you
where we
say,
were,
oh,
yeah.
God, that's
Look at that.
how I feel about that room
Yeah, it's
right
a good
now
way
is
to
how
do
I
it.
felt about so many more rooms
Mm.
last year this time in spring camp. I go, oh, God.
That is a really good way to turn it around, buddy. I like that you did that.
That's why I work for the PR firm. That's why there was a headhunter.
Well, I think it's a fair counterpoint to my, rather bleak assessment of the room, which is
It's only one room. That's it. That's
yeah,
the answer.
Routinely, I look at that room and I'm just like, let's say I have.
Rector's had a good camp, though.
Yes, he has. But it's like I have 5 kids and there's the kid that's just disappointed me. And I just look out there and I'm like, he's not going to figure it out, is he?
That's the truth that a lot of parents have, right? But they'll never say
Oh,
aloud.
you can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they love him.
Right. Unconditionally.
Yeah. I'm still, the garnet and gold. I love you, but there's some kids in that room that shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be wearing the uniform. That's all I'm saying. Not if we're right. Not if we're right.
Sounds like Coach K's Thanksgiving. Happy everybody's here except for Ronnie.
Yeah. Poor Ronnie's like, what?
You don't belong in our uniform, Ronnie.
I just want to hear him say Windell one more time. We'll come back, wrap it up. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue just north of Havana have become your destination for the best food either side of the state line. But what if you want fresh seafood? Say no more. Kenny and the crew have got you covered with seafood so fresh, the only way you'll get it fresher if you grow a set of gills. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of the last light in Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, open 7 days a week. Get your fill at the grill.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences. Too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
But if you're gonna make the move and the transition, you want to make sure you got experts and guys that are qualified to do it. T-Spark, baby. They've worked to smooth out the process, made some valuable suggestions to those that have made that decision to go solar panel. And look, last thing you want to do is to have to pay an additional $10,000 plus to remove your newly installed panels because you find out that your roof wasn't in good enough condition to handle it. So he is qualified and has gone through the proper training. You want that, plus the safety training to boot. It's T-Spark Enterprises, Roofing and Construction. If you would, Tom, I'll let everybody know it's time for Probables, brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services. Cue it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Orioles, Pirates, Tyler Wells, Zach Thompson. That game's underway. Several of these are Twins, Red Sox, Dylan Bundy, Michael Wacha. You got Rays, Braves, Luis Patino, and Kyler Murray. By the way, the Braves take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at Truist June 11th. My birthday, I could be in Atlanta watching my Pirates get their head kicked in by the world champs if I wanted. Maybe.
It's your favorite city in the world.
I have a love-hate thing for Atlanta.
You do. Sometimes you genuinely are okay with it.
Yeah, I am. There are parts of Atlanta
Orlando,
I like a lot.
never. But Atlanta, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, there are parts of Atlanta I like a lot. There are lots of things to do in Atlanta, I'll tell you that. Yankees, Phillies, Jamison Tyon, Zach Eflin. Tigers, Blue Jays, Matt Manning, Alec Manoah. Royals, A's, Chris Bubik, Dalton Jeffries. Rockies, Giants, Chad Kuhl, former Pirate Chad Kuhl. He sucked in Pittsburgh. He'll suck in Colorado. Giants, Alex Wood. Dodgers, Rangers, Ryan Pepia. Taylor Hearn. Padres, D-backs, Blake Snell, Luke Weaver. No, Luke Weaver. Angels, Brewers, Shohei Ohtani, and Eric Lauer. Nats, Mets, Eric Feedy and Tawan Walker. We got the Cards and the Marlins. Drew Verhagen. Trevor Rogers. White Sox, Reds, Michael Kopech, Hunter Green. Guardians, Mariners, Aaron Savelli, and Chris Flexen. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Speaking of Alex Wood, James B. from the top rope with a fantastic contribution to the cause.
James. Hey, you know what? I love me some. Yeah, thanks, James. Love me some McCowan. I may very well do that. May very well. When was the last time you sat down and sipped on a good scotch, Tom?
Recently.
Yeah.
Recently. I'm trying to pinpoint exactly when. At CP, they had some at CP. Residuals from a scotch tasting that they had one night.
Yeah.
And so I made sure to enjoy. It was a Talisker, which is always good.
Talisker's great. I've got a really good bottle of Talisker at the house. And I recently got a Lafroig Select that you and I may have to bring it on by, is what you're saying.
I won't turn it down.
Yeah. Bring it on by.
Thank you, James. That goes to the tree removal fund. Very much appreciate it.
It is very much appreciated, James. Thank you for that. Okay, so hockey wagers, how'd we fare?
We didn't make a play last night because Toronto was not playing. That's the only team that I'm kind of on right now.
You got to feel for them.
If you want Toronto, either take team total over because they're scoring in bunches right now, or just take them straight up to win it. It'll probably be expensive to do so, but they've impressed the last week or so.
Tomorrow's game has tomorrow's Libations Friday edition of the Jeff Cameron Show will have picks plays for the weekend, which includes the Final Four. So if you guys have been asking me about that, I got you covered for tomorrow. I've been waiting for some numbers to move around a little bit. We're starting to see some of that. So I was trying to get best value before I post that on College Sportsbook as well.
Also, Tampa is playing some shaky opponents tomorrow night and Saturday.
Good.
A couple of back-to-backs. It's time to start circling Tampa. The effort they put out on Tuesday against Carolina, an exceptional team, that turned my head. Here we go. This is it. I think they're starting to turn it on.
Certain books might have it. Well, I've seen it 4-1. I originally saw 5-1. I think it's moved, but every day at this time, I give you a couple baseball things to look at. Mainly totals, but Shohei Ohtani, if you believe he'll stay healthy, you can get him at 5-1 to win the AL MVP. So
you should, because the DH rule also protects him. So if he pitches, he can stay in the game and hit.
Yeah, listen, there was no better player in baseball, and he did weird things that hasn't been seen since Ruth.
So a few weird things about the rules. Number one, that universal DH came with an Ohtani rule that if you're a pitcher, so maybe the Mets will do it with DeGrom one day, but if you're a pitcher and you can mash like Shohei, you can stay in the game even when you're replaced on the hill.
On the hill,
you
right?
can still be the DH. The Ghost Runner came back for this year and this year only.
What?
The Ghost Runner in the extras for the regular season.
Second base.
Guy at second base. Yes.
It came back?
It did. It was originally supposed to be no, and then they said yes for this year.
Why?
Because they believe that pitchers, it took too long to get them started, and so they don't want long games to.
Well, that means then they just make it a permanent rule if that's what you believe.
This year only is what I mean. It may be. Maybe
I
one of
would
those
never
things.
make that a permanent
The toll
rule.
is going to go away on the toll road once it's paid for.
Yeah.
It could be.
That's my famed example.
And then, did you see next year? Jason Stark wrote an article on this today that the balanced schedule is coming to MLB
that I'm in
next year.
favor of. By the way, that is awesome.
And it's quasi-balanced.
Yeah.
You still play more in your own division than any others, but you're dropping 5 games per team in your division and dispersing them throughout the rest of the slate.
Awesome, because it is a much better way of deciphering, a team's strength or weakness and why they do or do not deserve to be in the playoffs. It's great because we can compare apples to apples. All right. Otherwise you get slapped in some years you saw a relative strength of schedule for one team that was grossly different than that of another, and they won 86 games, but had they been in whatever the West, they would have won 109.
Now after that, if you can just get to robot strike zones and umpires, we're rolling, because it needs to trickle down to college baseball. That would be great. These umps wouldn't know what to do. They'd probably quit because they can't be the center of attention.
Man, the umpiring the other night, it's not why the Noles lost. I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm saying. It's not why they lost, but man, I just don't know how. How do you go? My question would be, do they go back and everybody should self-scout in any line of work that you're in. I mean, go back and listen to shows and hear where I screw up or I had opportunities to inform or entertain or whatever, verbal crutches and the like, right? If you work wherever you work, there are things you should be doing, check marks, things that have to get done. Do umpires in college go back and look at their games and or are they even aware that there are certain calls that are so absurdly bad as to have made the internet rounds? Like they became a focal point nationally because they called something that was 8 inches up a strike. Like, are they aware of that? Do they go back and go, man, why did I do that? I must have a blind spot. I got to work at this.
No, I think they go home and they sit down at the dinner table and their wife says, you got mentioned 5 times tonight, hon. You did great.
I mean,
great
it's just crazy to me, right? I mean, just go. If you went back and watched that called third strike on Terrell, you would be ashamed of yourself.
And there was one it was carry on. It was somebody in the later innings. It was a righty.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And it's a curveball that's basically at its clavicle and on the inner half. And by the inner half, I mean the chalk of the batter's box.
Yeah.
Ha! Backwards K. But that dude wanted to be a superstar.
Yeah.
He threw out a kid for stepping out of the box.
I know. It's insane. It's insane. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on a Live Nations Friday.